Hi there, welcome to another interval magic video tutorial. Today's lesson is the one-hand shuffle. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the magic. Okay, the shuffle you're about to learn is actually a one-hand version of what is called the weave shuffle. That's where you weave two halves of a deck together and then you end with a bridge. Now again, it's the same thing except you're doing it with one hand where you weave together two halves of a deck and then end with a bridge. Now I'm going to break it down into four parts. But before I tell you those, I want you to understand my version is a little different from other magicians. Some magicians do a version when they separate the top half, they insert their finger and the top half slides down over their fingernail. And that's fine. They're actually using gravity to help them, which is always a good thing. My version, I feel as if I have a little more control over the shuffle. My version is a little different. Same principle, but you'll see in a second. So I break it down into four parts. The first one is the split. The second is the separation. The third is the weave. And the fourth is the bridge. So the split, the separation, the weave, and then the bridge. The first part of the one-hand shuffle is the split. You hold the deck in your left hand, almost as if you're going to deal cards, but then you kind of lift up the deck so there's space between the palm and the deck. Now, these three fingers are along the right edge, your thumb is along the left edge, and your index finger starts on the top. There are two pressure points that will split the deck. Your left index finger starts at the upper right corner of the lower half, like this. Your left pinky, it's going to remain kind of down here, right? And it's going to exert pressure on the lower right corner of the upper half of the deck. So I hope you're following along. So what happens is your left finger will exert pressure, your pinky will exert pressure, both of them kind of pull toward you. Using your left thumb as a fulcrum, the top half will rotate a bit clockwise, like that. Now I'm going to give you a close-up so you can see precisely how to do this. So as you see, left index finger exerts pressure on the upper right of the lower half, splitting approximately in half, which would be 26 and 26. And then your left pinky also goes toward you. Left thumb is the fulcrum, and that's the split. Just sit there and practice the split over and over again until you can do it. So you separate the deck 26 and 26. The second part of the one-hand shuffle is the separation. It occurs just after you do the split. The way I do it is my left first finger adjusts very briefly. Okay? When it readjusts or regrips, it grips it so it's lower. So this half is lower down in the hand. Then my left middle finger goes to the upper right corner of the top half. At the same time, my left pinky goes to the bottom short edge, like this. And then what happens is The thumb and the index finger pinch tightly, so there's pressure. And then the left middle finger and pinky, they push toward each other, so there's pressure between those two fingers. And then you basically split those two halves like this. Now, at this point, I do a readjustment move, okay? And it's something that's evolved over the years. But what happens is I push down with my left index finger a little bit. See how it slides? Then that allows me to kind of get the momentum to kick it up a little bit. But just after that happens, my left middle finger goes on the upper right corner of the right half, or the top half. It stretches. Now, everything's gripped pretty solidly here. That allows me to move my pinky back up here, and then it allows me to separate the two halves in preparation for the weave. So I'm going to give you a close-up right now, so it's a little easier for you to see this action. Here's the separation in close-up. The third part of the one-hand shuffle is the weave. It occurs just after the split and then the separation. So you split, you separate, and then the weave happens right here. Here's how to do the weave. After you have these two halves lined up fairly well, you're going to butt them against each other. And notice that the angle, they're kind of tilt both diagonal. When you put pressure, starting at the bottom, the cards start to go together as you apply more pressure. Now that's not a very good weave because it's kind of hard to do slowly. But you basically weave the cards, and this is just a knack thing. You push them together until they pop together. Part 4 of the one-hand shuffle is, of course, the bridge. So this occurs just after you do the weave. The bridge, you can do palm up or palm down. I like to do it palm up. So what you do is you apply pressure with the first finger of that hand downward, and then you squeeze the deck together so it forms a U shape like this. Then you release the potential energy by releasing pressure on that first finger, and the cards will bridge. Now the bridge tends to work a little better when you do the shuffle, not quickly, but when it flows one step after another. So if you hold the weave there too long, it's not going to look as good. So you split, you separate, you weave, and then the bridge is you apply pressure downward, squeeze, and then you do the bridge. So that's the one-hand shuffle. If you have any questions whatsoever, please email me, tom@intervalmagic.com. Thanks for watching.